Thank you ever so much for coming this evening. My name's Dave Patterson. I run a small project called Unity and Poverty Action, and one of our remits is to help the Christian community across Leeds to work together more effectively to tackle poverty. We work with all sorts of different people and work with the wider city as well, not just the Christian community but the wider city. Part of the role that we do is to chair a small network called Connection Leeds.
Well, you will know then, if you've heard of us, that the Joanna Project works with vulnerable, hard-to-reach women. Women who are trapped by life-controlling addictions and who, for the most part, are involved in street prostitution. But actually, our women are just there because of the bit before, because of the addiction. What we're aiming for is to pass on hope, love, and dignity. Hope is so important for change, because without hope, you have no concept that change is possible. And most of the women, when we originally meet them, have no hope, in that they have no vision that life could be different for them. Our next objective is love. I wonder if you were to write a sheet of paper now of how many people in your life love you. You'd probably need sheets and sheets of paper, particularly if you're part of a church, part of a work group, part of a community. It's true to say that so many of the women we meet have nobody. Can you imagine? Being just brought up in care, put out of the care system as a youngster, being part of a family is foreign. And so we do a lot of hugging at the Joanna Project. We do a lot of mothering. I think that really sums up what we do. But we're trying to show love, because to have that hope, you need to know that you are loved. And the last word that we have in our aims and objectives is dignity. Our women live a life, there is no dignity in sex work. And so hope, love and dignity is what we're about. So we're trying to inspire that hope, we're trying to show love, and we're trying to regain dignity. We started about 10 years ago with 3 Christian women in Leeds who had a passion for going out on the streets with their cars, with sandwiches and hot chocolate. And we still do that. After the evening outreach we started a few years ago, they added on daytime outreach, which was getting alongside people, taking them to appointments, helping them get housed, doing all those practical things. And we still do that as well. But we had a vision a few years ago that we wanted our own place, a place where women could come and find us. But more than that, where they could find a place that was like a home for them during the day. And after quite a lot of excitement and fun, we got our dream and we opened in February. It's very small, it's in Holbeck, and women are coming through the doors. We didn't know whether anybody would turn up. But we've only been open since February, and we've had 40 women use our facility so far, coming regularly. And I find that I love a lot, I weep a lot, I scold a lot, and we laugh a lot. And we just do the sorts of things that you will all take for granted.
Okay, so my name's Graham Fell, and I manage a very small charity called Spacious Places. It's a day treatment centre for recovering drug addicts and alcoholics. We are based on the 12 steps. Have you heard of the 12 steps? Yeah? So the 12 steps are developed by Alcoholics Anonymous and are used by all of those anonymous fellowships. So we're a total abstinence-based charity or service. So in a sense, we are like a rehab, but we're a community rehab. So when they come to see us, they are at rock bottom, and they've realised they want to go abstinent. Once they're detoxed, and once they have decided that they want to go totally abstinent, we can help them. So what we do now is we have exported our expertise of 7 years with some really good results. You know, we get 68 to 70% success rate. Remember, though, I've been to a few funerals as well. So we know we've got a good programme, but now we've exported our expertise, and we have one of our ex-clients who is over 4 years clean and sober, and he runs what we call growing rooms, which is in Faith Lodge Hostel. And this is about really step 12, really. It's about giving back to community, and that's what John, who is the guy in growing rooms, he was a client of us. When he came into my office, he was a gibbering wreck, a complete wreck. He was referred to us from St Mary's Mental Health Hospital. Now he is leading men in an abstinence-free lifestyle and teaching everything that is learned both from Spacious Places and from Narcotics Anonymous.
The Lighthouse seeks to be a church, be a Christian community for those who are on the chaotic margins, those who are battered and bruised by life, who have many who have multiple and complex needs. That includes homelessness, includes serious mental health issues, loneliness, and also includes addiction. So what do we do at Lighthouse? Well, there's three things that we do. Firstly, we share Jesus. We're probably, out of all our organisations, we're the one that looks more like a church, So we talk about Jesus, we teach about Jesus, we sing to Jesus, we pray for people in a group environment. We do that on a Sundays where about an average sort of 50 or 60 people meet every Sunday in the crypt, where we'll have a service together followed by a community meal. And we'll do things like say, let's have a moment's silence. What would you like to pray for? And people just start being honest in a way which is I've never been in a small group like it, where people will say, you know what, this week has been hell. Or someone else will say, could you pray for me because, could you pray for my child who's been taken into care? And then others will say, me too, me too, me too. Because behind the story of addiction, at least to those in addiction I'm meeting, is a story of trauma. But we also want to build community. Yes, we do go looking for people sort of in parks and some of the rough pubs, etc., etc. But also we want to see people come and join this kingdom movement. So we share Jesus, we build community, and we also offer pastoral care. That's sometimes one-to-one pastoral care. Sometimes it happens not from, in a sense, the leaders, the person wearing the collar, and that's the best way for it to happen, but between brothers encouraging other brothers. Each Wednesday we have a drop-in followed by a Bible study. No food involved in this one. Our food is great on a Sunday. I have to say that because Katie, our head of hospitality, is here. But on Wednesday we don't have Katie Kitchen. But on Wednesday, no food, but people come, not for the drop-in.
12 years ago, if you were an addict and you were thinking about recovery, you probably 99% of people in the UK had two options. The first was going to a coffee bar outreach, and then you had residential rehab, and there was very little in between. This is the state of recovery in this country. That for years, when someone went to church, they wanted recovery, the church went, help, where do we send them? And 12 years ago, that didn't fit with me. I thought there must be a way for the church to be involved more in someone's recovery. And then about 4.5 years ago, my paths crossed with Life of the World Trust. They've rebranded over the last 4 years. Their training's now called Living Recovery. It's a small national charity. Life of the World have been going 48 years, coming up to their 50th year, which is exciting. They spent 35 years in residential rehab, with rehabs right the way over the south of England. They had over 1,000 people go through their rehabs. And the trustees would say to me, we felt God was saying, you've got to lay it all down and go into equipping the church at local level. So that's what they did, laid it all down and went into equipping the church. Okay, Life of the World mission is to enhance addiction treatment and recovery through quality addictions training and project support, particularly in partnership with local churches and Christian community projects. We've worked in the field of addiction since 1967, including 35 years in residential rehabilitation and over a decade delivering nationally recognised, accredited addictions training to the church throughout the UK and abroad. Now the difference with Life of the World training is that 90% of it has outside accreditation. The first course we do is 4 days of training volunteer work with vulnerable people. So if you've got a group of volunteers, they need training, and we can come into your church or project and give 4 days of training. Okay, the course equips volunteers working with vulnerable people in church settings or Christian projects, where they are likely to encounter people with addictive behaviour. So it's a great course, right? Sounds stodgy, but it's great. Alright? Okay, the second one used to be 18 days. We've cut it down to 10 days because 18 days was too unwieldy. A unique professional course for those working or hoping to work in the field of addiction. The course has a clear Christian theological foundation and incorporates the latest research and development. We're hoping to run one in Leeds in the new year. So it's 10 days of training, there's personal study, homework, and you have to do a work placement. Next one, we recognised through what people were saying, there's a massive gap. Establishing a family support group for the families of addicts in your church. Who's looking after the families of addicts? They're the real victims. They are the real victims of addiction. Okay, so we've set up a new training package, 4 days of training. We'll come into your church, give 4 days of training, different aspects of addiction, how to run a group, and the sort of issues you'll be facing. And the fourth big thing we've got is Living Recovery Structured Day Recovery franchise, which is a big franchise to help a church or a group of churches set up structured day recovery in their community.
We have begun to move as a project, and probably also within the crypt, we have moved much more towards a recovery focus in the way that we do our work. And we also offer what we call training engagement now, and we employ a training engagement manager, and we're getting people who are coming and they can volunteer with us. And that's partly come from the staff. The staff have, over the years, it's partly funded by the council, and to the council it's accommodation, really. If you look at the spec, it's accommodation for people who want to get off drugs. But you can't just give somebody a key and say, there you go, thanks very much. There's no other people in the hospital taking drugs, don't worry. It's much more complicated than that. And what we've realised and we wanted to offer was more than just getting up in the morning and saying, you know, have you help sweep the corridor, have a nice day, maybe see you at tea tonight. We wanted somewhere that was proactive in working with that recovery, which is why we brought in the growing rooms model. But one of the things, the differences with the growing room model for us is that 2 of the days, there's 3 days in the classroom, or 3 mornings in the classroom, running the 12 steps model via spacious places, is that the 2 days in the middle we ask them to volunteer, and we ask them to do constructive activity, and again, because of what we can do in the crypt, they can come and volunteer in the crypt. I mean, they can do anything really, but it's many of them choose to come and work with us. We do gardening as well. We've recently done through Leeds Beckett University some costings on what we do, and we continue to look to do that, to try and get funding, so that it's all very well for us to say we're doing a great job, but you know, whenever we go to a funder we have to justify particularly the cost savings that we do. And one of the things that they said was that most of our staff don't have any extra skills that probably couldn't be bought in by anyone else. Fair enough, I agree with that. But there was one aspect that they looked at, which, these aren't their words, I put it into words that somebody else once said to me, is that you can't replicate the heart. And that's the difference that I believe is in our work as Christians, and that's why I'm part of this network here tonight, and because that is the difference that I believe it makes in all the work that we do, is that it's the hope that was first spoken about this evening, and the first speaker is what is given out to the people that we work with.